Hello everyone. This is the interview that I promised, and this is the expansion I've been telling quite a few of my friends about. I've had an experience bringing a lot of good products from Cairo, and now I'm about to take people to Cameroon. And, I say about 3 or 4 years ago, when we were still living in Atlanta.
2012.
2012.
Yeah.
I came to your restaurant because I knew about there were Ethiopians doing their thing. I think there was a Senegalese restaurant doing their thing, and then I saw your website, and that's what actually drove me to say, okay, what's going over here in Windy Hill?
Yeah, the Motherland Kitchen.
Motherland Kitchen, yeah. And what really impressed me is that the way you cook your food, because a lot of people, they have the white rice. A lot of people, they may use animal fat, and you're actually preparing African food with healthy ingredients.
Exactly. That's why we're here today, right?
Yeah. Tell them who the Spice Queen is. You're the queen of Pan-African cooking. That's what I call you.
Okay. My name is Sabina Jules. I am the founder, CEO of Motherland Spices. And I used to own Motherland Kitchen in Atlanta, Georgia. And now I am in Nashville, Tennessee. I have Motherland Catering. And the reason why I moved here was because I found a packaging company that is working with me, and we're now packaging the spices because I thought I could reach a lot more people by bringing in the African herbs and showing people also how to cook healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I'm actually writing the cookbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Motherland cookbook will be out soon, and the cookbook and the spices are going hand in hand.
Oh, great.
So all the spices that you see here are my spices. These are the spices that I used at the Motherland Kitchen.
Okay.
So I thought the Motherland Kitchen, people really love the food. It was a cuisine of sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
So I had my own recipes, the way I made the food. I moved away a little bit from the traditional way that African food is cooked because I made my stews with olive oil.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, I make my stews with olive oil. I do use coconut oil and palm oil as well.
Yeah.
Those are all very good oils to eat. Olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil. The myth of saturated fat in coconut oil and palm oil is not really true because the kind of saturated fat that is in palm oil and coconut oil are fats that do not actually hurt your arteries.
That's true.
They are all good fats.
Yeah.
So coconut oil and palm oil and olive oil, those are the 3 oils that I use. No processed oils. And also I import the authentic herbs from Africa. And I use them. I do a blend of the other herbs that are in America with the herbs that I bring from Africa, and come up with this fantastic product that people are really enjoying.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So these are all the seasonings. This is the hot pepper. Okay. People love this pepper because it has a flavor. Oh yeah. So some people actually call it the hot scented pepper. Yeah. It has a flavor.
It has a good taste to it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is very hot, but it has a flavor. So it's not just about the heat. It's also about the that comes with it.
That counts too.
So this is hot pepper that comes from Africa, comes from Cameroon specifically. Okay. And then this one is the soya spice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the soya spice. Generally, when I get the soya spice, I do what I call doctoring. Okay. I add other herbs to it. Okay. So that when somebody takes the soya spice, they don't need to worry about other things to put on their meat. Already, I put ginger in here.
Okay.
Because ginger has proteolytic properties.
Oh, yes.
That is, it helps to break down protein. So it acts like a tenderizer.
Yeah.
So when you use ginger in your meat, you really don't need a tenderizer.
That's true.
Especially the processed tenderizer.
Yeah.
Then you have garlic that gives sweetness to your meat. So there's garlic in here, there's ginger, there's thyme, there is basil, of course basil, and there is bay leaves.
Okay.
So all these plus the soya spice.
Yeah.
So it's just ready to go.
Okay.
All you need to do is add salt to your taste.
Okay.
And just put it in the grill. You told me you used it, right?
I did. You know, every now and then I like to eat some meat. I cooked some meat around the 4th, and I had some lamb chops. And, well, actually, it was rack of lamb from Australia.
Okay.
And I cut the lamb, and then, you know, like you always say, if you really want the best taste in your meat, if you're going to cook it, let it do its thing overnight. Marinate.
Exactly.
And so I just put some basic garlic on it, a little bit of salt, and then I put it on the grill, and then I put your suya on it. And actually, it's like it melted in my mouth. So,
and you didn't give your dad, right?
Not that time, but I took the recipe down. I was like, okay, I know how to recreate it to blow somebody's mind.
Okay, so well, you make sure you get some, and make sure your dad actually tastes, you know.
That's what happened.
What we eat in Africa. This is jollof rice seasoning.
Okay.
You know my jollof rice, how it used to taste.
Oh yes.
The secret is in this bottle.
Okay.
And I used to make vegetarian jollof rice. And I have the recipe in the cookbook.
Okay.
And the reason being, I noticed that a lot of people came into the restaurant and they asked me, do you have a vegetarian menu? Do you have a vegetarian dish?
Yeah.
Then I thought there must be a good block of people that don't eat meat.
That's true.
So instead of cooking jollof rice like everybody else does, putting some chicken or beef or whatever in it, let me come up with a vegetarian recipe. Yeah. Which means no meat, no fish, no crayfish, nothing. Yeah. Just herbs. And a recipe that is both vegetarian and tasty.
Yeah, at the same time.
Because vegetarians have a hard time finding good food because most of our foods are always cooked with some kind of broth.
That's true.
It's either chicken broth, beef broth, turkey broth, or vegetable broth. But this bottle has what you need to just make your jollof rice wonderful.
That's great. Yes. That's great.
So this is one of my best sellers as well. Okay. Yeah, for people who like to have rice, both the brown rice and the regular white rice. Okay. So this is the jollof rice seasoning that I came up with from my experience in the restaurant. Yeah. And this one is the porridge seasoning. Okay. Generally I call it porridge, but typically there's a dish in Cameroon called ekwang. Okay. It is actually grated cocoyams that you wrap with some leaves, maybe turnip greens or some other soft leaf. Okay. And then you steam it. You put some meat in it, put fish, palm oil, and so on. Okay. So usually back home we have certain spices that you add to it. So to make people's lives easy, I have just combined all those. Okay. Our what we call bush pepper back home, which is a family of the Kobe pepper. Yeah. It's the Cameroon we have a rare species of the black pepper.
Yeah, several people in Cameroon have always said that.
Exactly.
Yeah, a wide variety of plant vegetation there.
Yes, yes. So the black pepper or the bush pepper, as we call it back home, because it grows in the forest, it's highly organic too. It's one of the main components here. Wow. The other component is some other seasoning called prekese in Ghana. Okay. You go to Ghana all the time.
Oh, I do, yeah.
Yes, the next time, please, you're going to bring me some prekese.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yes. But in Cameroon, we call it long king. Okay. No, we call it four corner. Sorry. Okay. Long king is another herb. Okay. It's another spice. In Cameroon, we call it four corner. It has a peculiar shape. Okay. If you go on my website, you see what it looks like. Prekese is also part of this blend. Okay. And that herb, I actually have talked to some Ghanaians who say that people who have high blood pressure, they actually boil it with ginger and drink it, and it helps them.
Wow.
So and I looked online, and the Food and Drug Administration of Ghana has actually approved that herb rather, to be used as coloring for their sweet drinks and other foods in Ghana. So it's highly medicinal. Yeah. So Prickese or Four Corners is also part of this. And then I also have what we call bush groundnut. Yeah. In Nigeria they'll call it ehuru. Yes. It's a spongy. It's like a peanut, like a 1 grain peanut. When you open it up, it has a spongy feel to it. It has a beautiful flavor. So those are the main ingredients in this one. Yeah, and it's very good for. So if you do like your yam porridge, your potato porridge, your plantain, any kind of porridge, anything that you make like a soup with palm oil, this will be very good for that. Yeah, this is the porridge seasoning. And this one is what we call in the northern region of Cameroon achu. Achu soup. It's actually a soup made from palm oil. And what they call kanwa or potash. It's typical in Nigeria and Cameroon. In Nigeria, they will use the palm oil and the potash when they do the goat head. What they call ishewu. So this one I labeled it achu and ishewu seasoning, because the seasonings that they put in ishewu are the same seasonings that we put in the achu soup in Cameroon. Yeah, so I labeled this achu and ishewu. So if you make any of those dishes, a teaspoon of this, you're good to go. You don't need to worry about looking for the uziza or the ehuru or any of those other spices that they put in the good head. So
everything's all together.
It's ready to go. It's ready to go.
Wow.
This one is called mbongo. It's typically the alligator paper. And the reason why it's black is because when it's roasted, they roast the alligator pepper. And when they roast it, it burns. And when they grind it, it gets a dark color. But it's a combination of alligator pepper and other herbs. And they call it bongo. The equivalent of bongo here will be allspice, I think. Yeah. So all those put together, and this is what we use for like our blackened fish. It is delicious.
Yeah.
If you want to do your blackened fish, either like a fish stew or just grilled, but you want, instead of just grilling the fish, you want a black color to it, then this will be good choice for your blackened fish. So we call it bongo just because of the name of the spice that is used to make the seasoning. Yeah, blackened fish.
Great.
This one is the king. Why do I call it the king? This is the fish seasoning. I have noticed that you cannot find seasoning for fish on the shelves.
Not really, no.
Nothing specifically for fish. When I say fish, I mean
maybe Old Bay, but
grilling, grilling fish or shrimps, something that is all natural, no salt, no preservative, nothing. This one, people are just raving about this specific season.
I tried it on salmon. I grilled shrimp on the grill.
Any fish.
Yeah, any fish. Yeah.
Any fish. You put it on it, just a little bit of salt, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
This is actually a combination of 16 or 17 herbs and spices.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are like 8 different herbs that come from Cameroon. Some of them, of course, you find them in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Liberia. Most of the west coast of Africa.
ECOWAS,
Yes, because of the vegetation.
The
rainforest and all that. So most of these seasonings, you find them in the West African countries. Yeah, so this is a combination of, and of course, you know that Cameroon in Africa, we're called Africa in miniature, which means if you find anything in any African country, you see it in Cameroon. And not only that, Cameroon is noted for their fish grilling. If you go to Cameroon and come back, one of the things you will miss would be the fish.
Wow.
actually, one day I was sitting in the restaurant, and a guy walked in. He was white from Canada.
Wow.
And he came with a friend who was Cameroonian.
Okay.
And he said,